Welcome, one and all, to the MBF Spotlight podcast. It's a great pleasure to have you, all of us, today. As you all know, we've had two sessions of MBF Spotlight seasons during the COVID time. And for those who have attended these sessions, it was very informative, and we had a wide range of entrepreneurs within our sessions. Now we are kickstarting our MBF Spotlight in a podcast format for the first time. We're all excited for the season, and we're aiming to have such podcasts every month going forward. Our aim is to have conversations on relevant topics and cover the interesting journeys of various entrepreneurs in our midst. Today, we have a very familiar guest with us. Let me introduce our first guest of the podcast, Mr. Febin Dominic, founder and managing director of Intellyze Innovation Private Limited. His company focuses on helping clients with branding, social media marketing, web development, cloud services. Earlier, he used to work in TCS, and once he completed a certification in entrepreneurship management program in IIM Kashpur, he then resigned from TCS and started his own company at the young age of 22 years, and has been growing ever since. Febin is also the chairperson of Marian Business Forum. I think we have the perfect guest for the first podcast of MBF Spotlight. Without further ado, let me welcome Febin to the MBF Spotlight podcast.
Thank you so much, sir.
Welcome, Febin.
Thank you so much. Very happy to be here.
Thank you for joining with us today, Febin. Febin, I think for the viewers, maybe a bit of a background. Where are you coming from? What are you doing at the moment? What's your company about? Maybe a little bit of brief would give the viewers the idea of more about you.
Sure. So, as you said, uh, I have been working with TCS and bit of formal introduction, if I say. So, I hail from Kanjirapalli,
Right.
and
Right.
my family. I have my dad and mom, then sister and brother is there. I'm the youngest son, and I did my schooling in Kanjirapalli itself. I was a student of St. Anne's Public School, and then I
Right.
pursued BCA from Marian College in the year 2012-15. And then I
Hmm.
started my career with TCS, and it was a short stint of 1 year. I have been working with them, and then I started the company. So it's been 8 years since I started the business, and between got married as well, and that's the major change. I mean,
Great. Great.
after
Great.
starting the business, that's the major change. Yeah.
Great. Great. So let me just maybe start my questions with respect to what made you decide to go for BCA? Or did you just go for BCA just like that, maybe because of friends, or was it the big thing at that time, at that point in time?
I would say not both actually. So my career plan was actually to become a pilot. Really wanted to be a pilot.
Oh,
So
really? This
yeah.
is we have something in common. Okay.
Oh, that's
Now
nice.
I'm dealing with numbers.
Okay. So the plan was like, see, I was not a very studious student, I must say. Like, not that I lack the intelligence, but then I was very, I don't know
Okay.
what was, riding in my mind that point of time. But then only subjects which I used to pass in my 12th standard was English and computer science. And
Okay.
always I was very passionate about programming. I really, even now also, I love programming. So what my plan was like, there is a short commission position that is there, which in Indian Air Force, which I thought I could apply while
Okay.
pursuing the
Great.
degree. So I just wanted to, kind of have an easy degree wherein I don't have to stress too much on studying, or spend too much time
Right.
studying and all. So computer was always my choice. I really love to learn more and programming languages and everything. So that's how I ended up with BCA.
Right. So, like, is there any plans to go back to the pilot thing anymore, or would that be just out of the story right now?
Of course. See, I must say that once you have a dream, or really you want to do something, it comes in your way.
It becomes a to do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what
Right.
happened is, like, my wife actually took me on my last birthday. She took me to Malaysia
Ah,
and
okay.
made me actually experience the flying. So there was
Oh,
something called
really?
one day pilot. So I just
Uh-huh.
get to experience handling the bar, steering bar, just around the
Right, 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 right.
Petronas
So
towers
this is
and
like a
everything.
small plane, yeah? This is like a
Yeah,
small
yeah,
plane,
it
yeah?
was a Cessna, but yeah, I mean, I usually I
Nice.
just got a hand to it, but probably I always look forward to take a at least a trainee license as a pilot.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right. Very good, very good. So, sorry, when you were studying in college, right? Like, how was the learning experience? Like, because now you have exposure to all the coding languages, and because BCA is different from our schooling. Even if you like computer, very different than what you learn in BCA, right? Was that your catalyst to go into business, or how did you find your time in college? Where did you get that kind of you want to start a company? Where did that initiate? Was it in college? Did you see something, or was it maybe in your work atmosphere?
So probably I must say I started my first business venture when I was in 10th standard. I mean, after completing the 10th
10th
standard.
standard.
Yeah.
Now you have to tell me about it. Oh, what is this about?
So it was with my school friends. So we were four of us were there, and we always were we four were always in front of the computer. So that time there was this
Right.
game called Counter Strike, and we used to play Counter Strike together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So if you know, like you play it on particular servers, right? Like there will be different servers which
Right.
are available. So we started to rent out some servers and resell the servers to uh, professional players who would pay us to get a better performing server to play on.
Okay.
But
Okay.
but yeah,
Great.
it's lasted just one and a half months only, but it
Yeah, but
wasn't a
still,
huge success. But yeah,
it's a.
so I've
So
always
you're a serial entrepreneur. Okay.
I must say I was, but right now I'm focusing just on Intellyze itself. But yeah, I would
Right.
like to
Right.
be
Right. Right.
a
Right.
serial entrepreneur. But yeah, coming back to your
Right. Right.
original question, probably see in my school days I didn't had much opportunity to explore my leadership or there was nothing more you can do out of your regular textbook stuff. Always I have taken up leadership always, and I'm even now I'm very happy to take up leaderships. But then college, what actually the exposure that college have given is like all of a sudden you're getting all together a new face, a set of new faces, new people that you're
Right.
working with.
Right.
In school, like you
Maybe
grow
more
with the
freedom as well.
freedom is also there. Freedom is also there. And in
Right.
school, you actually my entire trade is built through the school days, right? So you know your
Right.
friends
Right.
and everything is molded up in that way. But when you get into the college, it's altogether different sort of place. Now people from different
Right.
backgrounds, financial background is different. The way everyone is brought up is different. The kind of education,
Right.
the quality of education is different for each individual. The way that people
Right. Right.
thinks is very much different, which I used to believe, like how people are. But then
Yeah.
from there, especially in Marian College, like you get to do a lot of activities. There are any number of activities you can be part of, and I was always part of whichever is possible. I was always there. So that kind of given me that
Right.
confidence. You can do things. You can do things out of you can build things and do things. And of course, there were
I think the level of exposure, right? Maybe the level of exposure has given you that kind of a confidence
exactly,
when you were
exactly,
in
yeah.
college, maybe.
Exactly, and
Right.
I
Right.
had my class was also very supportive, and I thought like if you have a good people along with you, and I can definitely build something together and yield some good results as well. So definitely college was that the college days was actually that puts in that confidence. Being a business person was always there in the back of my mind, but then yeah, what accelerated I could say the college played a very crucial role.
Fantastic, fantastic. I think that's the same case for me as well. But going forward, like when you went for TCS, now TCS at that time is a very famous company, right? It's a very successful company, and getting into this company is kind of a big thing or a big deal for a lot of students. So how was that kind of an atmosphere when you got into the in a company, and how was that experience? You can just elaborate a bit more about that.
See, experience-wise, it was. I won't say it was a very good experience for me at least. But yeah, it depends on person to person. It varies. So I was placed in four companies, and as I said, like I was very interested in programming, so I was very particular on getting a development project. But then after the
Right.
training, it didn't happen. I had to hear a lot of shouting from the HR for not taking up support projects. But yeah,
Okay.
bigger organization. Maybe now I can relate it more. The organization grows, it's always not that easy to cater to every employee's request for an HR. But
Right.
yeah, I was fortunate to be placed. After a lot of talks, I went to see the account manager and made him convince I will only take a development project. But yeah, I should say I got a development project. But then again, the exposure wise, it was very less. I was not feeling that I'm doing something. But I
Right.
mean, I'm not generalizing it with respect to any company or anything. It's basically project based. Like any service based company you join for your career, it's basically depends on how good your team is. Not particularly with
Right.
the
Right.
company, how your manager treats you, and what sort of exposure
Mm-hmm.
you want, and are you
it,
really
it
enjoying?
really makes it really makes an impact, right? All of these
Yes.
soft matters, even though it might not be considered as a KPI, or it might not be tracked in the sense like maybe a revenue or the bottom line, bottom line revenue just hitting the bottom line, or any other KPIs that would matter. All of these soft matters also matter, right, when you work in a company.
Sure, for sure. See, it basically depends. You have to be lucky to have a good people around you. Uh,
Right. Right.
if someone in your team is not very supportive or is not kind of liking you for any reason, that can spoil your entire days of career. Especially when you are starting it out, it can totally give you a wrong perception about it. But then there are good teams as well. Many of my friends, they are still continuing with TCS. They're very happy. Uh, you know,
Right. Right.
yeah.
Maybe it was not for you, but one of the questions that I want to ask is, um, now you have an experience of 1 year working with TCS, and you've understood how maybe it did not match to your expectations, right? How do you capitalize on that experience in your company? Now you're on the flip side, you're on the managing side, and obviously there are different characters of people who have different things or different expectations. And as a manager, in order to get the work done and the team synchronized, you need to make sure that you align with their expectations. How did that experience kind of help you in your company? Maybe I know we are sidetracking a bit, but I
Yeah.
thought to highlight this just now before I forget. So
Sure.
if you could just comment on that, that'd be great.
See, being very honest, I cannot actually relate anything in TCS with the way right now I am managing people. Um, Maybe
Right.
see when it's a very big team and when it has got a very bigger hierarchy, it might be bit tough to kind of understand a person a little bit closer, or a person to person you
On a
get
personal
a,
level.
yeah, on a
Yeah.
personal level you are getting to understand a person might be different. But in my case, like I very rarely had to deal with any tough employee decisions. Most of I would say 99% of the people who go to, I mean, at least I have employed around 50 people minimum. I don't have an exact client, at least they have come in and gone during this span of time. But then I get to keep a very good relationship with all of them, and now whenever
Right.
they are doing their part pretty well, and I don't have to boss around or tell them this is how it should be done. Of course there is that supporting thing that we have to give, the guidance should be there. Whenever
Right.
you get to understand, sometimes someone else is coming to you and making a statement about someone else, and then you have to use your wisdom to understand why that particular person is
Right.
behaving like that. So should you
Right.
actually
It
talk
comes
to
with
him?
experience, right?
Yeah, comes with experience, and also it depends on how we understand people. And but I must say, every team member which I had, very fortunate to say, I rarely had to deal with anything so-called office politics or issues between the teammates. Nothing like that
Right.
actually
Right.
happened. So maybe it's a part of the culture, and when you build something like that with your closer people around, so they come and stick into that culture.
Great, great. I mean, yeah, that's a good point. I think if you have that good kind of a culture or value system within your this thing, because it spreads among your staff and the company in the whole itself. So it makes sense. You not get the job or the project that you wanted, which was into development and coding, and you were mostly suggested with the support projects, which you were not very interested in. So was that the catalyst for you to go pursue your entrepreneurship certification, or how did you want to proceed with that, or is it because in your back mind what you said earlier you wanted to be or you wanted to start a business? Was that the reasoning for going to the certification program in IIT?
No, I actually got into development project itself, but then that was after a
Okay.
lot of talks, and HRs literally bashed me out in front of everyone for not taking up projects.
Right, right, right.
But
Mm.
then I was
Mm.
very pretty much adamant. So my literal statement was like this. See, I actually told the HR in front of everyone. See, while that at the time of interview itself, I was very specific that. Uh, will I be getting a development project? So that was the only thing which I had asked my, asked your HR team while interviewing me, and I had
Right.
asked the same question to every interview and with every company which I had attended, and I had four other offers in my hand. I chose TCS. So then you should be
Right.
sticking to that, and then no, I mean they might be hearing it a lot, but then they asked me to go and meet the account manager since I was kind of a pain for them.
Right.
See,
Maybe a rebel.
see the thing with some I don't know, but then in companies like
No, but
this,
it is very reasonable. It is
yeah,
very reasonable, Febin, for you to kind of stand your ground
yeah,
and ask for what was already communicated. I don't think that is the right way to
yeah,
handle
and
it.
one
But
more thing which I
yeah, you
feel
stood
very
your ground.
strange in such companies, by the time I am arguing for this thing, they are kind
Right.
of, there is someone else, speaking to another HR who doesn't want to be in a development project. They want to,
Ah, okay.
they want to be in a
They want to
support
be in the
project or
support.
a
Yeah.
testing project, but for some reason it
Mm,
doesn't
right.
happen. Yeah.
Right, right, right. So how did you get into this certification program in IIT? Because that was after that. That's when you resigned from TCS and then you started the company,
Yeah.
right? So I was just curious, why did you go into that certification?
See, it can be kind of called a sweet revenge, and maybe a backup plan for being in the marriage market. Being very honest.
Right, 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 right,
So
right,
see,
right.
as I said, my schooling was in Saint Anne's, and probably those who know the school, they produce many IATNs and AIMS, sort of people out there.
Yeah, it's
So most
famous,
of
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So most of them were around there, and I still remember one of my schoolmate when I met her during my college days, telling me like I was nothing like what I was in school in terms of my marks and all. So it was kind of
Right, right.
I also wanted to prove myself that I am also capable enough of getting into such reputed institutions. So then a friend referred a course to me, but then it was not that sort of hard, getting into. But then I always wanted
Right.
to have that tag. I also did a couple of certifications from IIT as well. So I just
Mm.
explored some of it. Just if it's needed, I had no plans of doing a postgraduate program. But then, if somewhere, you don't know how it's going to be in the future. Maybe the girl who wants
Yeah,
to
yeah,
marry
true,
me
true,
should want me to have a higher degree. So,
true, 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 true.
but just to add,
But these days,
having a good organization,
yeah.
it's good to have. So that's why
No,
I
it
was,
makes sense. I mean, it's always good to have a good name to the CV, right?
yeah,
And always obviously the people in that kind of an atmosphere will be very different from from any other place,
yes,
because
yes,
you
yes.
have the top people coming there and wanting to get the qualification. So definitely that's going to add a definite value add to your CV. And then so after you came and then you kind of resigned, and how did this, like, how did you realize that this is a good, um, or what happened, or was there anything that struck you that, okay, this is a good thing that I want to do? um, I don't think initially it was branding, that as you were doing initially, you started
Yeah.
it as a developing project. Maybe if you can elaborate on that, what was your journey into the start of this venture that you've initiated?
See, even when I was working, I was parallelly building some applications, working on few things in the background. But then,
Right.
quitting the job and starting a business was a very spontaneous decision for me, just because there was an opportunity. So I thought, maybe I was very fortunate to, to be in a position where I could take such a decision as well. In a short period of time, I decided I'm going to stop the job and then jump into starting a business. Family was very supportive, and I didn't have to think a lot on money perspective or how it is going to be, because I always had
Right.
a confidence in, or a better situation for me in that aspect. So there was an
Right.
opportunity. There are a couple of projects lined up, and then I thought I can put together a team also. So it all came together, and I thought, why not start now? And that was the time when the appraisal was also being discussed. So I kind of felt, I had a feeling like, I got a good rating.
It's
Uh,
not going to be a good outcome, right? Or
no, no, the rating
is
was
that
good, and
what do you think?
I must say I was drawing a salary of around 12,000 that point of time, and then after the
Right.
appraisal, it goes raised to around 22K. So I
Okay.
kind of
Okay.
felt like,
That's
if
nice.
I'm going to stick on this, I will be in this safe spot. So after probably a couple of years, probably switching the company, and it will be in a very safe place, and then I won't actually try business. I thought, why not start it early?
Right.
So,
Makes sense.
that was the thought behind it, and now I must say the projects which actually were there, it didn't happen. But yeah, when you start
Hmm.
something, you definitely put out the words to your friends and family, and probably that's how the journey started.
So that means the position where you got out and where there were projects that lined up for you that didn't work out,
Yeah.
and it was sort of you jumped into a place where you don't know where to go next. How was that? How was that? Like, did you feel like, did I make a wrong choice? Did you ever feel that?
No, I have never felt that I made a wrong choice. Even see,
Okay.
business. Being recognized as a business person is, it's a really cool thing. But then sometimes you feel like, should I have been? You see the friends who were working alongside with you, and they are making good figures. They have to work only for a specific period of time. They will have the salaries credited. So did I made a wrong decision? But then, I just put myself on the other side and think, you working, and there is someone always above you, and you have to do things, and
Right.
probably,
So that was the
today.
sort of motivation that you
Yeah.
had.
So today, you see, I can do anything. Maybe it might affect my business, but yeah, I don't, I can do whatever I want with my time. So
Right.
I
Right.
never regretted or look back on that aspect. But what I felt all throughout my business journey, it's always good to experience the bitter side at as the earliest possible.
At the earliest, because then you have space or you have leeway to
Yeah,
manage that
kind
risk.
of.
Even if something happens, you still have time to recoup it.
Exactly,
But once
exactly.
you are comfortable, yeah, once you're comfortable, and then you want to try something, then it's kind of risky, because now you have
Yeah,
responsibilities, you have your family, kids, other
exactly,
responsibilities. So it's
exactly.
going to be more of a harder jump, maybe, if lack of a better word. But this
Yeah.
is something how it would be, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Right.
And
So,
once you
tell
are
me.
into it, things will come out. So even when that projects didn't work out, we could manage to close some other projects as well. So it was all, going with the flow. But then you get to understand,
Okay.
okay, whatever you are seeing, it's going to happen today. Sometimes it may not happen. So you should have that backup, and you should have that thought behind your mind, and you should plan ahead.
Now, Febin, I was talking to one of my friends recently, and he is starting into business, and he is of the person or the mentality that he hired one person, and he's also doing most of the work, but he's very hesitant to hire a team, or because these are the starting, I think, issues that entrepreneurs face. That they have the project, but they are not able to scale it up, or have a bigger team and kind of get more bigger projects, and they kind of stunt the growth. like maybe a bonsai, you stunt the growth of the tree, right? But you're not able to have your full growth, unfortunately. But the thing behind when I was talking to him is his rationale is, what if I'm not able to pay the salary of the people that I hire? Maybe what if I don't have the projects enough, or maybe the receivables that I need for next month is not coming next month. Maybe I will have to give 3 months receivables. So in that case, it's going to be very stressful, and he's not
Yeah.
able to handle it. So I'm 100% sure you might have gone through this, or you might have gone through a situation where you're not able to pay the salaries of your staff. Would you elaborate on that? I think Febin, maybe if you can elaborate on that, that will be great.
ഫീല് കിട്ടുന്നത് നമുക്ക് ഇങ്ങനത്തെ തോട്ട്സ് ഒക്കെ വരുമ്പോഴത്തേനുമാണ്. യു ഹാവ് ടു പേ സാലറീസ്, യു ഹാവ്
Right.
ടു മീറ്റ് യുവർ ഓൺ എക്സ്പെൻസസ്. ഇതിൽ നമുക്കൊരു
Right.
ജനറിക് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു ആൻസർ ഇല്ല. ഇറ്റ് ഡിപ്പെൻഡ്സ് ഓൺ വിച്ച് ബിസിനസ് യു ആർ ഇൻ ടു ആൻഡ് വെദർ യു നീഡ് എ ടീം ഓർ വെദർ യു ക്യാൻ യുവർ സെൽഫ് ഡു ഇറ്റ്. ഇതെല്ലാം ഇതിൻ്റെ ഒരു ഫാക്ടേഴ്സ് ആണ്. ബിസിനസ്സിൽ റിസ്ക് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് എപ്പോഴും അതാണല്ലോ. യു ഗെറ്റ് എ പ്രൊജക്ട്, ആക്ച്വലി നമുക്ക് ഈവൻ ആഫ്റ്റർ ദി പ്രോഫിറ്റ് യു ഷുഡ് ബി ഹാവിങ് ദറ്റ് ക്യാഷ് ഇൻ യുവർ ഹാൻഡ് to actually experience
Working
that.
capital, yeah.
Yeah, working more than working capital. See, whatever you, after you do whatever your product or service, you sell that, you should make some profit, and even after the profit also, you should be having some money to
Right.
keep aside, some cash to keep aside, and you wish to spend in whatever way you want. So that is when you feel that
Right.
real happiness of doing the business. So to
Right.
answer, how to go about with it is, it's your risking capacity. Or if it's a, I can mostly relate to as a technical or a software side of, if it's a technical thing that you might probably need a person to help you with, because I cannot be a master of everything that we do in the company. So probably you
Right.
have to go for someone else. So see, if you are not sure about how the payments are going to come in, you get the advance, but then you don't know when is the next time the client is going to pay, or even if he is going to pay at all. So see, there are always
Right.
people around you. You might not probably need to go and hire someone on a monthly basis. There will be people who is willing to take and
Freelance, yeah.
yeah, freelancers, for example. You can communicate. It's about being open with your communication. So see, if I am starting a business and I have I need someone to help me with, maybe I'm taking a accounting or a tax related project, and I don't have the expertise. So probably
Right.
I imagine I am coming to you. So probably that's
Right.
kind of your background, right? So then I will be Alan. So I have this project. The client has paid me the advance, but then it depends. Maybe the next payment will come after 3 months only. So are you okay to work in such an environment, or such a setting? Are you okay to work in with that setting? So sometimes you will
Right.
be
Right.
okay with that.
So when the receivables are difficult to get, you push the payables basically.
Exactly. See, it is like we being flexible, how flexible we can be. So I know the
Right.
payment is going to come after 3 months only, and I am not in a position to pay you for the first 3 months. So what
Right.
is the best solution? So I tell you the same thing. So yeah, because see, me as a business person, there is someone else on the other side who propose me. I will make an advance, and the next payment will come after you do the work, and that's after 3 months. So I'm communicating the
yeah.
same thing to, and I'm okay to work in that setting. So probably there will be many people who will be able to work in that setting, maybe at a lesser price, and I can make my margin, he can
Right.
make his money. So it is about how flexible
Right.
you can be, and how you can reduce the overheads. It depends on person
Right.
to
Right.
person. So I have come across business owners who never outsource. They cannot think of outsourcing.
You mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they
So
want
they
their
hire
team.
people, you mean?
Yeah,
They hire their own
they,
people then?
yes, they want their own people. They want them to specifically work on that. So it's about personal traits, how you can manage it. So ultimately, you have to deliver on
Right.
what you
Right.
promise, and the way it's up to you to decide how you can manage the people, manage the expenses, and everything.
Over the
And
years, Febin, over the years, like would you consider yourself as a person who is okay to have freelancers in your team, or a full-time hired staff in your team? Like over the years, what would be your preference?
See, preference always it's good to have your own team, no matter what.
Team, right, right.
See, that's always the best
Right,
thing
right.
to have. You have people under your command, and always it's you have a better level of confidence when you introduce your own team to your clients.
Definitely,
So,
definitely.
but yeah, say it's different. Maybe if there is a project coming in today and my team is full, and maybe it's not a very long time project. Let's say it's a 6 months project. All the trouble of going through the hiring, offering him a job, and then you're not sure after the 6 months what is going to happen. I'm either okay to
Right.
outsource it, or if there is a good freelancer who is a capable freelancer, then I'm okay to give it to him also. There's nothing hurting, but then it depends. Sometimes the client will be very specific. It shouldn't be outsourced or something like that. So unless such criteria are not there, and if I am feeling confident to outsource it to someone else, even a freelancer, it's quite possible. Even we do that also.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, see, I think the whole point is about understanding where you are at this stage, and
Yes.
then kind of being flexible and trying to communicate what is your bottlenecks, and communicate this same to the outsourcer or whoever the party that you want to engage with, and then kind of go forward with, because it shouldn't be one-sided. I think approach, right? I think we need to
Yeah.
have a balanced approach and communicate it effectively in order to get the work done. In the end, the work has to get done,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So
See, in
I
my
think that
case
is the
also
approach.
right now also like no, I only have half of the developers working on project under my direct payroll. Rest,
Right,
rest I have taken them on contract. So whenever a project is
right,
coming in,
right,
I kind of try to negotiate. I know what the industry standard is, so I try to negotiate with the client to meet that. So
right,
I communicate same with my vendors also.
right.
With
Makes
the
sense. Makes
yeah.
sense.
So that's how
Now,
it is.
Febin, now I want to ask you another aspect of this. Now, when you started, right, you wanted you started this as a development company,
Yeah.
right? And 8 years before, in 2016, because that was the time when the social media was kind of coming out as a big thing, as the next big thing.
Yeah.
And how was that transition? Because coding is very different, social media is different. Because branding and advertisement is very different. Because coding, as I know, is sitting on the computer and coding. It's like a very
Yeah.
maybe you can say maybe introvert kind of specific job. But this branding is completely different. You have to engage with the client. You have to see who's the user. You have to understand how they think, advertise to their liking. Get the user base and all of those. The life cycle basically. But how was that transition? And would you call yourself an introvert at that time, or how did you transition from being a coding guy to a social media guy?
Okay, see, I always relate this to a Messi Ronaldo thing. So Messi, we call
Oh, really? How's that?
Messi, we call him like he has got that inborn talent as a footballer,
Right, right,
and
right. But I'm
Ronaldo,
with Ronaldo.
yeah, Ronaldo is like he worked really hard, and
Definitely, yeah.
he earned that skill. So for us, development is
Right,
like we being the Messi. So we had that inborn thing in us,
right.
and see, it's a
Yes.
common perception that developers are mostly, they are very silent and introverted people, but actually it's not. Now, good developers, if you
Okay.
see, for being a developer, understanding the business requirements and interacting with the client is very much important. At least I feel it
Yeah,
that way.
it's very important.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So even
definitely. Yeah.
if in my team also, even if sometimes the resources they might not be that good on a business side, but I make sure they talk to the client. It
Right,
might sometimes
right,
look
right.
little bit bad on the clients, and because the resources are not understanding the exact business side
Is-
of it, but then they should be able to
Right,
understand. They should be able to communicate. So what happens over some period of years is like the developers themselves are able to offer better solutions to the clients. So
right, right.
so
Because they get
develop
involved
yeah.
in the business side as well,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So, see how we transitioned into all these other verticals is like it happened with the need of the hour. So when you have a
Mm-hmm.
project close for let's say a website or some applications, so probably we just give random feedback like your logo can look better, your browser can look better. So then they came to
Right.
us
You
and
basically
asked,
cross sell, basically.
yeah, I mean, we didn't had any intention of selling it, but then it was a very honest feedback, why your logo is looking like it can be a lot better, right? So why don't you try it out?
Right, right.
So they were like, do
Mm-hmm.
you have anyone to try out? So that is when we thought, okay, we
So,
can
okay,
can develop on that verticals, and
why not start with it?
yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and as it goes, like it turned out to be well, and we thought, why not take that also as a vertical within the company. So that's how
Right, right.
branding
And
came, designing side came in, and with the designing came. So at that point of time, social media was just getting the traction. So it was more about
yeah,
creating, making posters and all, and then publishing. So again, clients wanted
right.
us to do those activities. Then the marketing side came up. Then again, clients asked us whether we can cater to that. So
Mm.
that is how we transitioned. So probably it was with the client demands, or we understanding there is more demands that is
Yeah.
going to come in.
Yeah, it's also you have to keep an open eye for these kind of development, right? Otherwise,
Yeah,
you will not be able to catch the opportunities. I think you've got all of those things, the social media, then the branding, all of these things which happened, in the same kind of progression of the years down the line. You know, looking forward right now in 2024, what do you think is the next big thing?
yeah. See, technology is getting easier and easier day by day. So yesterday, my
Right.
friend who is working with Verizon, the company who owns Yahoo. So
Yes.
he was telling, now Google's 25% of the code is right now generated using AI. 25% of the
Okay.
entire
Interesting.
code that Google is having, it's generated using AI. So
Okay.
see, technology is getting much more easier day by day. Whatever you have to do with respect to technology, even from a client side, anyone can start doing it. So for example, see, we ourselves transitioned
Right.
from being a development company, then we ventured into designing, then we formed the branding section altogether as a separate section, then came in the social media side. So then from there we transitioned ourselves into a business, digital marketing side as well. Then at this point of time, this financial year, we are more focused on as a company or as an agency who increases the business revenue for our clients, not just doing the marketing, but
Right.
we should be the people who should be giving strategies to enhance the sales, not just the leads, but
Okay.
then we should guarantee the sales as well. So, see,
Okay.
why? Because now anyone can run a Facebook ad these days. Maybe not to the level of,
Yes.
not
Yes.
to the depth or level of as a professional agency do, but then it is quite possible.
Right.
But then whether are they able to make
Right.
conversions out of it? So this is a question. So that
Mm.
is where we thought we should be, as a marketing company, we should be able to drive in more sales as well. Not just we there was a time we used to tell the clients that okay, we give the leads, it's your responsibility to convert the sales. But right now,
Right.
if you tell that anyone can generate leads these days, but then tactics
Right.
to
Right.
convert the sales is what matters. So there is,
Definitely. In the end, it is
yeah,
customers, right? I think
yeah,
the more the customers is, that's the whole point of their advertisement.
yes,
But the point is, as a, in the viewers of this podcast, there are students as well as, many people who are not in this field. So I'm just asking a question. Even me, I'm a layman in this aspect. So I'm also asking for them to be clear for them as well. So when I hear you say that you're guaranteeing or you are helping the clients to generate more sales, that means to me it is like, okay, then you're helping in advertisement. That is the thing that gives the outcome as increase in sales. But you told me that it is not marketing, it is other things as well. Can you touch on those other things other than the normal advertisement or marketing that you would want to do, or that you would suggest a client to increase the so-called revenue that you just said? Can you just elaborate on that so that everybody
yes,
is
yes.
clear?
I can
Uh,
very well explain that. So I will take a simple example. Okay, see,
right.
Alan, you start a business today. Okay, you started a business today, and you
Right.
asked me to drive in sales. I mean, drive in do the marketing for you. So
Right.
I go back and I fetched let's say 20 leads for you, and I'm giving
Right.
you today 20 leads. But then you just
Right.
started up. You have a lot of things to do. You have a couple of clients lined up for you, and you are talking with them. You are hiring more people. You are always packed with many things on an operational side. I'm giving you 20
Right.
leads. Will you? How much time do you think you need to call these 20 leads?
I think being a small team, it will be very hard to
Exactly.
manage this.
Yes, exactly. So
Right.
that's what happens with most of the people who venture into digital marketing who doesn't have a sales team,
Right.
right? Because they are
Mostly
business
they don't.
owners. They
Mostly
run
they don't.
behind.
It's the founder and some few employees who
Yeah,
do
they
the
all will
work
be
and clean up.
very much focused on running the day-to-day activities. But it is about
Right.
changing that mindset of the business owner, making him understand. See, the more you put effort into marketing, you should also be very much focused, and you should be ready to spare at least some amount of your time to handle your leads, and we suggest them the strategies to convert those leads into sales.
Right.
Say, for example, if let's assume you have hired someone to handle the leads. So your lead
Mm.
is just calling, okay, I'm from so and so company, I got a requirement, so what is it? And this,
Right.
if it's a very random call, see, probably what happens these days, every lead that you're getting, they are leads to your competitors also. So it depends on
Right.
how good you handle that particular lead. How right right when you say the good morning, how are you doing? You should be able to develop that sort of emotional connection, and you should make them feel something
Yeah.
special, something different than the other people calling him. So
Right. Right.
these are the other things.
I think that's called the rapid, right? The rapid that you
The
make with the
rapport is
customer.
there, how you pitch in your products and services. It shouldn't sound like you're
Mm.
selling, they're you're forcing them to buy, but then they should come to you
Right.
and ask for you to okay, we can go ahead. So that sort of things is what the what are the other things, if you ask, that's what it means. And it's a
Right.
lot of things put together that brings out the results. So what happens is, like, most businesses, they look upon their bigger competitors, and they
Right.
might be in the industry for last 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, and that's the time where they have taken this much time to build themselves into a recognized and known brand. But then
Right.
the business that starts today, they think that with 10,000 rupees spent on a month on advertising or on social media, they can also compete with them. They cannot. See, this
Right.
realization should come, and most of the marketing companies, they don't do that. Okay, you do put 10,000, we will make you rich. So see, if I am able to
Mm.
guarantee like that, I can run any business, right? So tomorrow a client
Any
tourist,
business, yeah.
yeah,
Just put 10,000 and then we will get the
yeah,
clients. So it
and
doesn't work like that. Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
So that is why we decided to put ourselves, do more of studies, and we take. Of course, we should be learning a lot of things how we can help business increase their revenue through
Right.
sales. So we are in the learning process. We are trying to put together our services in such a way that we can do that. So
Okay.
progressing future, we cannot imagine what next. Not right now. We talk a lot about AI, and couple of days back, I'm seeing something on quantum physics side, which is
Right.
going to be the next big thing. So
Mm.
the replacement of technology is very, very, very frequent these days. Today it's AI, tomorrow it
Yes, you have
can
to be
be
well aware, right?
VR. So you cannot tell what is the future, but at least stay up to date with what is already there in the market for last few years. That's what I can tell to see. Forecasting everything is pretty much tough for small businesses.
Definitely,
Yeah,
definitely. But at least you need to be open to it, right?
exactly. You
That's
should
the thing.
definitely be
Because
open.
yeah, exactly. And because there are a lot of people, Febin, like, allow me to just elaborate, because there are a lot of friends that I have. They have these small businesses, okay, and they have amazing products. I've used those products, but they don't have sales. And the thing is, this is the same issue in the sense that they're a small team and they're okay with the sales, but the product is good. But when you go to Amazon or something like an FB, Facebook advertisement, they push these products, and the product might be a shabby product. but the level of pushing that they do with the advertisements and things like that, you get prompted to buy these kind of products, and it's just very substandard. While there are certain other products which I have personally used, but it's not, making any kind of sales. So I think this is where your company comes in, right? Maybe for these kind of companies that you can try to push those products out not just purely through advertisement, but also maybe streamlining their sales side in order to make sure that they use the leads properly to close those deals with them and get the revenue from that side, right? Am I making sense? Or
Yeah, that's exactly what we also try to do. But then couple of points which I like to add to that. See, Alan, see, right now we are in the digital era, I must say. See, imagine like we are not in the digital era. Let's say we are around 2000 or 2005 time period right now. Okay, and there is no technology,
right,
not much internet around, and any of our friend is starting a business. Okay, how do you think that person will
right.
be initiating the business? There is no social
Mm,
media, there
I
is
think
no
they
WhatsApp to communicate.
it will be like the olden days, flyers and maybe with the jeeps and with the speakers, and that's how
Yeah,
they used to do before, right?
yeah. So it's about making your product available to more people, telling them that this is there, and it might take some time for people to actually realize that it's a good product, and they come back and ask for the product from the shopkeeper, and the shopkeeper will tell your sales guy or you that okay, we need this much more. They might make phone calls to you and ask for it. So see, and you might be
Right,
putting posters on the shop counters. See, all these things are there. You try to meet people who do the distribution. See, when we remove the technology, assume what all things that we will be ideally doing,
right.
and with when it and compare it to the things that we do with technology. We just think that the technology will do it for you.
Right,
Right.
right, right.
I'm not sure whether I'm trying being
It will
clear
just
here. See,
it will just make it easier. I think it
easier,
will
but then you
focus on
have to
your
do it.
attention.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
is about you doing using the technology to do it right.
right, right.
See, if there was no
Even
technology,
I
there
also
was
think
few
that
things.
AI
Yeah.
is not a yeah.
No.
Tell
What
me,
I
tell
was
me.
trying to say, like whether there is technology or not, it totally depends on how you promote your product, how you make people at
Right,
least to try it once and get a positive feedback and make them buy again, or make the product appear everywhere
right,
they
right.
go and see and but then you cannot prompt them to buy. There is something that while you are communicating that should prompt someone to buy it. With technology also
Yeah,
it is the
definitely,
same thing.
definitely.
Yeah, with technology also it's the same thing
Yeah.
that there should
I,
be that
I
sort of things that should come in.
I want to say this thing that happened when I was a kid. So I did my schooling in Kuwait, yeah,
Yeah.
and at that time, see now I'm thinking about it since you told about this. So there was a shampoo called Herbal Essence.
Okay.
So that was the first time they came into the market. Okay, I think
Mhm.
it's available in Lulu and all right now.
Okay.
So, but this was in Kuwait, okay, when I was doing my schooling. So what they used to do was they used to give free small sachet, like here the 1 rupee, 2 rupee sachet.
Yeah.
So it's not really prevalent there. Just the whole bottle. You
Okay.
don't get
Okay.
these kind of 1 rupee, 2 rupee sachet. So
Mhm.
they used to give small sachets to every home, right? And this is how they used to market it because nobody used to see. Yes, of course, we used to
Yeah.
see TV, and because for us, we didn't have cable at that time.
Yeah.
Just it was just some
Mhm.
local channels. And right now, nobody is doing that. But what they're doing is maybe they are going to YouTube and maybe having that 5-second ad because it is an
Mhm.
impression in your mind, and that's enough for you to think about it.
Exactly. Yeah.
I always tell my friends that just because it's 5 second and you skip it, don't think that it's already being registered. Just
Yeah.
imagine if people like the Karthik Surya and people like this,
Mhm.
like the influencers
Yeah.
are generating a lot of amount. From where these amounts are given by companies who promote these kind of advertising. So
True. Yeah.
the companies won't spend simply. So all of this is affecting the way how we think about a product and how it will affect. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a very good answer, Febin. But I want to ask another aspect of it. Now, what is the prevalence or what is the importance of having good mentors? And also, yeah, if you could elaborate on that, then I can ask the second part of the question.
Yeah, see,
Throughout your journey,
yeah. See, I must honestly admit that I'm a person who didn't had a mentor. No, I don't have a
right?
so-called mentor, but then I feel a huge void there. You know, if
Okay,
I had someone, be it my family or any close friends or anyone, it can be anyone who was there to
right,
was there for me to take a second opinion on how things are going to be. Because especially when you are in business, you don't have someone above you, and particularly in my case,
right,
even my family is they are not too concerned. So there is literally no one
right,
who I'm pretty much accountable to. So,
right,
having a mentor is like, you have someone whom you can trust and, go to, and you can speak up whatever is going through your mind, and you get a second opinion, you get a validation on your thoughts, you get corrections.
yeah,
So, these things are very much important, because being a business owner, you don't have much people, controlling you. So,
right,
but someone who have been already there in the market or in the business or in the industry, or at least have seen a lot of how the transactions happens. So if
right,
these days when I started, I when I restructured the company, I made sure that there are experienced people who have more experience than me also there in my board.
in the director,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So
both, yeah,
when they talk with a customer or a client or a person, so they kind of get it. They might tell with another example also. There was this guy who we used to do business. He spoke the exact same way, exact same time. So there can be this risk associated. Or the way he spoke,
right,
it sounds pretty good, and he seems to be like a good person or good connect. So there is a lot of outcomes that comes based on their experience, or in
right.
these sort of situations, this was what someone else have done, and they came out of those challenges. And maybe even if it's a new challenge, so probably from their experience they can suggest you something, which at least, even if business owners always find their own solution, but then it's about having someone to vent out few things, and they take it professionally. And
Right.
we cannot be seen as an no emotional person, or we cannot show our lack of confidence or whatever is going in our mind in front of the team, in front of the family.
Right.
So
Right.
always
Right.
have someone who understand you as a business owner. Having humanly feelings is it's something that definitely help. And not just for business people, but for
Sure, definitely.
anyone having a mentor is always good. Outside family,
Yeah.
outside your friend circle, someone who is good, and you feel comfortable and confident. You should choose your mentor wisely also. So that's something else. But
Right.
yeah,
Right. Right.
yeah,
So I think it gives you, and it also gives you a person to maybe bounce your ideas off.
yeah.
Sometimes you have that conversation. Maybe you're thinking about something. That kind of bouncing off ideas of each other would be a great addition. To having a mentor.
Yeah, and
But
of course
yeah,
they
so
will prompt us to do more as well. When you tell an idea,
right,
like you
right.
said, you can capitalize on that, and maybe you might forget it, and they might come to you. You said about it last month,
Yeah,
and what's the
following up,
progress? Yeah,
following up
yeah,
basically.
yeah,
And how about on the side note, with respect to mentor, what about the networking aspects? Because at some point when you are in a entrepreneurship, being an entrepreneur, you need to have those connections and those kind of networking opportunities where you have to make use of this. So would because there are a lot of students or there are a lot of entrepreneurs who are listening to us and they are in their starting stages, and maybe a comment from you on this aspect would, I think, give them some sort of guidance uh, in terms of what we've discussed about networking specifically.
yeah, yeah. See, networking in short is similar to you advertising your business, right? Because the purpose of advertising is
Right.
to reach to more people, and networking does the same thing. So whenever you are in a social
Right.
group or you are with a group of few people, so probably everyone, as a human trait, we all try to understand what the other person is doing. So probably that's the simplest example that we can kind of tell. Like, people get to know what you're doing, and but then as the network grows, and when you are in a network wherein you are part of a group wherein your potential customers are there, the people with buying capacity is there for your product or services, and you build a trust among them, and probably there should be some business that would be coming in the near future or later future. So networking is very much important, and in business you cannot eliminate networking. There might be people who doesn't do much of networking but are still successful in the business. But it's about you knowing more people. You talk with more people, you get to know more about new opportunities, what is happening in their business, and how your business can find an
Right.
opportunity in such businesses. So a lot of talks happens, and personally for me, after me coming into networking and being in part of various organizations, like for example, our alumni is one good example. Then I have been part of a couple of other
Yeah.
organizations as well.
MBF,
Yeah,
basically. Yeah.
MBF is there. Or otherwise, also the alumni platform together, and a couple of other platforms. See, we get to learn a lot from other people around, the way they manage their
Right.
finances, how they are running the company, how they tackle some of the tough situations. So all these are kind of newer learnings to me. So there might be new strategies which someone might have tried, and they tell this has been successful. So maybe we can also adopt to that. There's n number of benefits that you get out of networking. It can go long, and any number of hours we can speak about that. But make sure you are part of network. You build your network every day possible. The more people know about you, the potential of getting you new business is also much higher.
Right, right. Because then there is a level of connection, right? And what you said is exactly true, because it sounds like when you were telling to me, it sounds like the same thing that we spoke about the products, right?
Yeah.
Except there is no product, but you yourself is the brand, right? You
Right, right.
yourself is the brand of your company that you're projecting.
Yeah.
Also, talking about the brand, now there might be a lot of accomplished entrepreneurs who have been in the industry for maybe 10, 15 years, 20 years, and they are leading the company and their staff, and as well as, so I also want to touch on them as well. Now, sometimes you become the brand of the company. You are the brand of the company, and when you go out into the social gatherings or networking events, fortunately or unfortunately, you become the face of the company. So how would you deal with that, in the sense that you cannot depict yourself in a very unprofessional way? Or I'm not sure if my question is coming across properly.
Mhm.
What I'm trying to say is,
Whether I can
when
be
you
of
are
my
the
true
brand,
sense.
when you are the face of the brand, and when you are at a higher level, maybe 15, 20 years into the business, and when you become yourself the brand of your company, would you think that the way how we communicate, just like how you will do a product or advertisement in front of the people, going with the design or what your product you want to communicate to the client, what does this product stand for? Is it going to be a aesthetic design, or in the same way, shouldn't the CEO or the founder be mindful of that outcome that he's projecting when he goes to these kind of meetings and networking events?
Yeah, see, the simplest thing I can tell you, like, you cannot be someone else for a longer time, right? I have some
Right,
traits
right.
in me, and I cannot, maybe in front of a client, maybe I, find myself very, talkative, charming, and everything. But then maybe in a social event, and maybe for the particular days, but might not be, like that. Or maybe
the same, yeah.
like most of the times my teammates tell me, like, I'm very serious when I'm in the office and all. But then when I go out and be with someone else, I'm not like that. See, it's all your personal traits. You cannot actually change that.
Right.
But then, being with other people, it's like, see, you have seen business owners, like, if you say Vijay Mallya, for example, he doesn't fit in, the so-called societal things of an entrepreneur or a business owner, right? So say,
rebel-like,
yeah. So his lifestyle is kind of different. So it basically depends on person to person. And I have seen, the other business people or the business owner whom we, very respectfully see and, we patronize. When they are in some social events, we might wonder, like, okay, they are like this, So, but yeah, see, what I must say is, like, uh, personally, someone might be, a different character. In business there might be a different character. It is their personal trait, and as long as they are successful in that. See, if me being an introvert and I am very much successful in business, so the credit goes to me only. I'm not only I'm an introvert, but then as an example, see, if you are an introvert and you are running a successful business, you are not much part of a social group also, but then you are running business successfully. That's good for you. I mean, that's something that is your trait. But then if someone is very much extrovert and they go talk to a lot of people and everything, and they are not successful in the business, maybe we tell them, see, you shouldn't be like this. You should maybe behave a bit better way, so that people can have a trust on you.
Right.
So it all depends case to case. But yeah, no, it depends on how you want to portray yourself. I won't call you being a business person. You should be going like this. You should behave like this. I don't actually find that very comforting. You be what you want to be, because ultimately, as a business owner, I want to do whatever I want. If today I feel like right now, if I want to go play cricket, I should be going to play cricket. But then business shouldn't be affected, and my staff or anyone around me shouldn't feel like he's just playing cricket and not looking after business.
Right. So, yeah, being responsible, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you, Febin, on that. Just one last question. I think the viewers would be interested to find it out, and then we'll wind up. So you mentioned that the next big thing is quantum physics, right? If you could explain a bit more on that aspect, so that our viewers can sense your kind of thought process on that, and then we will wind it up with that. So you can.
So that's probably the toughest question I had today. So see, I don't have much knowledge with quantum physics, being very honest. But what I just understood is, like, see, right now in technology, if you say there is zeros and ones, the state is either 0 or 1. Data is stored as zeros, a combination of zeros and ones. But most of the programming languages also revolves around that. People who are from that background might be able to relate. But then, with respect to quantum mechanics or quantum physics, there can be more stages than the zeros and ones. More than it can be either. Right now it is either 0 or 1. But when it comes to quantum side, it's not just 0 and 1. It can be much more than that. So it is about.
You mean in the sense from coding perspective, or more than that?
See, on a generic perspective, see, electronics always works on this principle, right? പറയുന്ന പോലെ ഉള്ളൊരു സ്റ്റേറ്റ് ആണ്. അപ്പം ഹാർഡ്വെയർ കമ്പോണൻറ്റ് നമ്മൾ ഈ പ്രോഗ്രാമാറ്റിക്കലി എഴുതുന്നതെല്ലാം ഇറ്റ് ഗോസ് ത്രൂ ഹാർഡ്വെയർ കമ്പോണൻസ്, റൈറ്റ്? അപ്പം അതിന് ഈ പറയുന്ന ഒരു രണ്ട് സ്റ്റേജസ് അല്ല, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരു ഓൺ ആൻഡ് ഓഫ് ഫേസ് അല്ലാണ്ട് ദർ ക്യാൻ ബി ഇൻ ബിറ്റ്വീൻ ഫേസസ് എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ ദർ ഇസ് എ ലോട്ട് ഓഫ് തിങ്സ്, ലോട്ട് ഓഫ് അൺലേണിംഗ് ദറ്റ് വിൽ ഹാവ് ടു ഡു. ഇപ്പം നമ്മൾ റൺ ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്ന, ഇപ്പോൾ ഒരു എക്സാമ്പിൾ പറഞ്ഞു, ഇപ്പോൾ നമ്മളൊരു പ്രൊസസ്സർ എടുത്തു കഴിഞ്ഞ് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ പ്രൊസസ്സർ ഇപ്പം ഈ പറയുന്ന സീറോസ് ആൻഡ് വൺസ് എത്ര ക്വിക്കായിട്ട് അതിനെ ഹാൻഡിൽ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്നുണ്ടോ എന്നുള്ളതാണ് ഒരു സിമ്പിളായിട്ട് പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ അതിൻ്റെ ഒരു ഹാൻഡ്ലിംഗ് കപ്പാസിറ്റി. അപ്പം കൂടുതൽ സ്റ്റേജസിനെ കൺട്രോൾ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്ന ഒരു പ്രൊസസ്സർ ഉണ്ടായി കഴിഞ്ഞ് കഴിയുമ്പോൾ ദാറ്റ് മെനി മോർ പെർഫോമൻസ് ഈസ് ഗോയിങ് ടു കം ഇൻ ടു പ്ലേ. അപ്പം നമ്മൾ സിമ്പിളായിട്ട് ഇപ്പോൾ പറയില്ലേ, ഇപ്പോൾ ജാവ പവർഫുൾ ആണെന്ന് പറയാം. എല്ലാവർക്കും അറിയാവുന്നതുകൊണ്ട് പറയുന്നതാണ്. മേ ബി കമ്പയർഡ് ടു പഴയ ലാംഗ്വേജിനെയൊക്കെ വെച്ച് നോക്കുമ്പോൾ ജാവ കുറെ കൂടെ പവർഫുൾ ആണെന്ന് പറയുന്നുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. കൂടെ അത് ഒപ്റ്റിമൈസ്ഡ് ആണ് ഫോർ ബെറ്റർ പെർഫോമൻസ് ആൻഡ് എന്ന് പറയുന്ന പോലെ തന്നെ. അപ്പം ജാവയ്ക്ക് പകരം ഈ പറയുന്ന ഒരു ക്വാണ്ടം ഫിസിക്സിനെയൊക്കെ ജസ്റ്റിഫൈ ചെയ്യുന്ന അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അതിന് കോമ്പാറ്റബിൾ ആയിട്ടുള്ള ലാംഗ്വേജസ് വരുമായിരിക്കാം. അപ്പോൾ അതിന് തക്കതായിട്ടുള്ള പുതിയ ടെക്നോളജീസ്, ഇപ്പം എയുടെ കേപ്പബിലിറ്റി ഓൾടുഗദർ ചിലപ്പോൾ മാറുമായിരിക്കാം. ഇതൊക്കെയാണ് ഞാൻ ലീസ്റ്റ് റിസർച്ച്. എനിവൺ ഹു വാണ്ട്സ് ആക്യുറേറ്റ് നോളജ് യു ഡു യുവർ ഓൺ റിസർച്ച്. ഞാൻ എൻ്റെ വളരെ പരിമിതമായ അറിവിൽ നിന്നുകൊണ്ട് ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞതാണ്. എനിക്ക് ഒട്ടും ഞാൻ എക്സ്പ്ലോർഡ് അല്ല.
No, I mean, see, it's all exposure for people who are seeing this podcast, right? So I think it was a great discussion, Febin. I think we've heard a lot about your journey into this, into having your company, into having your struggles with the company that you worked with, and coming out and making your own company and working with clients. And it was a very informative session. Thank you so much, Febin. And until next time, guys, we will be having another entrepreneur with us. And bye-bye. Take care.
Thanks, Alan. And bye you all once again.
Oh, and one more thing. Febin, kindly, there are a lot of people who want to start business and who are maybe on the verge and who are just, wanting to take the step but not able to do so. What would you tell them, Febin? And then we will wind it up.
See, it's basically the mindset. Do what you want, and when you have a strong desire. See, I wouldn't call myself a successful business person yet, but the point where I am happy is that I had to go through a lot of challenges. In terms of losing a lot of money, from coming down from a team of 25 to just 2 people, and then again growing it back to currently we are a 25-member team. So there will be challenges. There is a lot of things that's going to come your way, but it depends on how much you want to do it. There will be always a way. So I won't say jump into doing business just out of passion. Do your own analysis, and still you feels like this is what you want to do the business, do it. And for me personally, I would say maybe you can think of working a couple of years maybe, but then if you have a strong desire for a business at this point of time, if you are a student or anything, try doing the business right from your college days. Try selling it to people, evaluate how much your selling capacity is, how good you are with handling the projects, handling the people, clients. So just get an exposure and try it out as early as possible, because losing in business at earlier stages is much more easier than you experimenting it on a later stage. So my message, or what I felt, what I would love to share from my experience is one thing: if you want something, you will get it. It's just strong desire. I mean, I know it sounds very cliche. Even a couple of years before, I believe it to be very cliche. But once you are in that mindset and you make sure you are going to do it, I am telling you, it will happen. My pilot example is just one thing which I have already shared. I really wanted to experience it, but then I didn't know how it came along. But my wife made it happen for me. So likewise, it will come to you. It will happen. Just be consistent, be truthful to yourself, and take risks wisely. Don't just jump to it. Do your own analysis, do your own risk potential. If you have a lot of commitments to be dealt with by yourself or by your family, finish that. Come freely into business. But then again, some people, for them it is easy. They want to do business. So understand what you are built for, and work towards that. You will reach there. That's what I want to tell you. And always don't think business is all that glam thing. No, even sitting here, it feels like that. But the moment I am logging off and going back into
Right.
the regular stuff, there are a lot of things. So be ready to embrace that also as part of your life.
Right, right. It's not only the easy stuff. There is difficult situations and hardships, right? But
Yeah,
thank you so much, Febin, for this
it's my
comment.
pleasure, Alan.
And next time when we meet, you have to tell me more details about flying that plane. Okay, I'm very interested.
Yeah, yeah, sure, why
So,
not?
thank you everyone for being part of this first session. And on that note, see you on the next session. Bye bye. Take care.
Bye, guys. Take care.